Mark, you certainly have. This game is just between the two parts of the Monday Night Club and the verbal spar between Messrs Smith and Sutton. We have some surprising team news for you, because Liam Cooper, the Leeds United captain, who injured himself, he had a muscle problem on international duty for Scotland, but was named in the starting 11. Well, he's injured himself again, or re-injured himself in the warm-up. So Pascal Strauch comes into what we believe will be a back four, and Jamie Shackleton has been promoted to the bench. So Leeds, who will go fourth with a win, two changes from the side who drew here with Manchester City. It was an excellent game just before the international break. Ilian Meslier in goal. The back four therefore, Luke Ayling at right back, then Strauch and Robin Koch, the German international. Stuart Dallas at left back, we suspect. And then in central midfield, Calvin Phillips and Matthias Klick. The wide men, Jack Harrison on the left. He was ineligible against Manchester City, his parent club, last time out. And Helder Costa on the right, who of course is a former Wolverhampton Wanderers player, joined Leeds permanently in the summer, having spent last season here on loan. And up top, it could be two. Patrick Bamford, who's got 3 Premier League goals so far this season, and Rodrigo, once signed by Nuno Espirito Santo for Valencia. He got the goal against Manchester City, and he gets the start. So for Wolves, one change from their 1-0 victory over Fulham. Rui Patricio in goal. Wolves will go to 6th if they can win here tonight. A back three, Connor Cody, fresh from England, his England debut and his goal against Wales. Willy Bolly and Max Kilman. The wing-backs then, Nelson Semedo, who played in Barcelona's 8-2 thrashing by Bayern Munich in the summer in the Champions League, and Romain Saiss, who's out of position over on that left-hand side. Midfield, Leander Dendoncker and Moutinho, who is in for Ruben Neves, and a front three, Raul Jimenez, who's just signed a new 4-year deal, Pedro Neto and Daniel Podence are the creative forces. So both sides lining up. Wolverhampton Wanderers away to our right in their Portuguese red, as the players take a knee in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and no room for racism, which has been promoted heavily by the Premier League, and rightly so, for the entire weekend. So Wolves kicking from right to left as we look at things. Leeds, of course, in all white, kicking from left to right, and it's a breakaway immediately by Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they've got themselves behind on that right-hand side, but it's a goal kick. The cross went in behind. A fast start, Chris Sutton, by Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yes, it wasn't just one ball in behind the Leeds back line. Actually looks like Leeds are setting up with a back three. I think we wondered what formation that they would play, but what we do know is they're going to start on the front foot and really put Wolves under pressure.
Ayling down the line, looking for Patrick Bamford. Kilman is across with number 49 on his back, 6'4", the left of the Wolves' 3 centre-backs. Throw-in taken quickly, but behind for a goal kick to Wolves. So I've been told with Leeds United, it all depends on the position that Stuart Dallas plays. If he's over on the left-hand side, he's the left-back in a 4. If he's more central and further forward, he's in the centre of midfield, and it'd be a back 3.
He's certainly in an advanced position. He's just dropping back in for Rui Patricio's goal kick, but certainly when Leeds are in possession, he's playing further forward in midfield. So Leeds, as we know, really can be very, very flexible.
Looking forward to a wide open game tonight. Two good footballing sides. I think you were saying just before, Chris, that we expect a fast, furious approach to this game by Leeds United. Maybe a slightly deeper sitting Wolves, who will look to counter Leeds on the breakaway. Leeds have got 7 points from their 4 games so far. Wins over Fulham and at Sheffield United, a draw here that I mentioned against Manchester City. They could be the first newly promoted side for 15 years to take 10 points from their opening 5 games. Wolves a mixed bag, 2 wins, 2 defeats. They opened with a 2-0 win at Sheffield United, then heavy defeats to Manchester City, although you were saying, Chris, you felt they were slightly unlucky, but the 4-0 was emphatic. The defeat at West Ham, and then that 1-0 victory over Fulham before the break. Here's Helder Costa, right hand side for Leeds United, checks back towards the halfway line, finds the German centre-back Robin Koch, and the square ball to Pascal Strauch from the Netherlands, who started at Liverpool on the opening day, that 4-3 defeat, and has been on the bench 3 times since. Liam Cooper has been struggling with his muscle problems since the start of the season. He missed the opening day against Leeds, and Diego Llorente, the new signing, was injured during the international break. Lovely ball through, and the cross comes in from Helder Costa. It's repelled behind for a Leeds United corner kick. It was a lovely ball by Mateusz Klich.
Yeah, really clever pass in behind, and Costa is just onside, crosses the ball in. Conor Cody, what a good start to the season he's had, that near post space position, popping it behind though for a Leeds corner.
Well, I've seen a lot of people score their first international goal, and they generally look quite happy. I don't think I've ever seen anyone look as happy as Conor Cody did at Wembley last week. Calvin Phillips, who earned his fourth cap last week against Denmark, right arm raised, number 23 in his back, kills it into the near post. It's an easy header clear by Jimenez, and it falls here. And a bit of time for Stuart Dallas, who chips it into the penalty area. The flick on is a good one. There's a chance here for Bamford on the left foot, and he just slices it, and in the end it goes well wide, but that was a decent opening for Leeds United. Bamford with 3 in his opening 3 games, failed to score against Manchester City. That's his first opening of the evening.
Yeah, it's a really good run from Klich into the box, who flicked the ball on, and the ball is popped back to Bamford from Rodrigo, but left-footed. He's just a little bit off balance, 15 yards out, slices the ball well wide of the Wolves' right-hand post.
Goal kick taken into that Leeds United half, and here is Costa on the right-hand side, and he's around Saiss very easily. Costa then inside of Moutinho, and then he's fouled by Saiss, who was trying to get back, having been beaten on the touchline a few moments ago. So it was a free kick about 20 yards inside the Wolves half, 15 yards in from touch, and an opportunity to perhaps send the ball into that Wolves penalty area.
Yeah, I thought Saiss was beaten initially, tracked back well, and I thought he won the ball. Wolves will feel hard done by.
Taken quickly, Calvin Phillips into the penalty area. Ayling got to the byline. The low cross was repelled, flicked in by Klich. The header comes in from Bamford. It's loopy, and it's easy in the end for Rui Patricio. But early signs that Leeds United have had a couple of extra days, so have Wolves after the international break. But they're starting very quickly, mentally and physically.
Yeah, no surprise there. I thought they'd start with real intensity. They have done. They're always looking to get runners in behind that Wolves backline. Ayling on that occasion.
It is remarkable to think, Chris, and it kind of reflects these two clubs' meandering nature in recent years, but it's only the third top flight meeting between Leeds United and Wolverhampton Wanderers in the last 38 years. They played each other in the Championship in recent times. In fact, Wolves have won the last 3, Leeds have won the last 3, and Leeds United have another corner kick as well, and they're attacking quickly, swiftly, this time down the left-hand side, and it's their third corner of the game so far. Marcelo Bielsa is sat on his blue tub, staring at the ground at the moment.
A tub, do you, or not a bucket?
Is it a bucket? It looks purpose-made, doesn't it? And the sponsors haven't missed an opportunity either. Right-footed corner kick to be whipped in from the Leeds left. It comes on the edge of the penalty area, and the header is in, and it's the opening goal, but no, it's not. The flag is up. Patrick Bamford's goal will be disallowed. It was a terrific header by Jack Harrison on the edge of the penalty area, and Patrick Bamford just straight into an offside position, and it remains 0-0.
I tell you what, it's a really clever corner routine. Bamford is in an offside position. He should have been a bit more switched on. Right-footed corner, bouncing ball to Harrison on the edge of the box, who just looped a header up, and Bamford finished off tidily from 6-7 yards past Patricio, but in an offside position, unfortunately for Leeds.
Interesting, all the talk of stats before the game, Chris. Patrick Bamford's conversion rate is 27% this season. In the Championship, it was somewhere around 13%. So is that a sign that he's dramatically improved his finishing during a very short off-season? Or, as Rory argues, will he return to the mean of that curve at some point?
His XG was probably more favourable this season, whatever that means. We'll have to ask Rory. It's important for Leeds, isn't it, that he's got off to a good start. I think question marks over him over the last couple of seasons. I've got a friend who's a Leeds fan, and over the summer we're saying we need to buy another striker, a goal scorer. But he started the season so well, and he's such an important cog in this Leeds team, isn't he?
He certainly is. He says he never felt he had the fair crack of the whip at his previous clubs. 1 goal in 27 Premier League games, of course, before this season, but he started superbly. Leeds sending a ball just inside that Wolves half. Connor Cody sends it long in return, and it's a good piece of defending by Robin Koch, who turns away and brings the ball out of his penalty area, and there's a decent ball into the midfield as well. And Leeds are on the move here on the right hand side, and it's Mateus Klick who's virtually ever present under Marcelo Bielsa. He's only missed 1 game out of 90 odd since Bielsa took charge in the league. Klick again, right touchline, couple of yards in. Here's Costa, corner of the penalty area, gets the return ball. Costa towards the byline. Saiss goes to ground, the defender. But, now he's fouled, is he? He went to ground, looking for the penalty, screaming at the assistant. Today's referee is David Coote, and by the way, today's VAR operator is Michael Oliver, in reverse roles to what they had in the Merseyside derby at the weekend. Chris, take a look at this.
I wonder what's going on at Stockley Park. Quite simply, Costa takes a dive there, and I don't know why David Coote doesn't book him for that. Well, he's thrown himself to the floor. There's not enough contact. It's really clever play. I don't think he needed to throw himself to the floor. Brilliant play, one-touch play down the right-hand side as he got to the byline. Just threw himself.
Check complete. Play on the cross into the near post. It was a decent corner routine once again. Ayling's cross towards Rodrigo, and his header went over. There was contact between Costa's boots and Moutinho's boot, but it was almost as if Costa initiated that contact and went to ground. No penalty. 0-0.
Yeah, it's a dive. I mean, that's what it is. Totally initiated it, and until referees start clamping down and punishing players for diving, it will carry on. We've seen too many this season already.
10th minute here at Ellen Road. Leeds 0, Wolves 0 on 5 Live Sport. Arlo White and Chris Sutton with you. Leeds with the best of the early exchanges. Here's Costa on the right hand side, took a pass from Rodrigo, and it goes to Ayling. It's a good challenge by Romain Saiss, who's usually a centre-back or holding midfielder by trade. That's a foul by Calvin Phillips on Pedro Neto, who got the winning goal against Fulham last time out for Wolves. Neto has stayed down, he's clutching his forehead, he's 10 yards inside his own half. In fact, it's Podence, isn't it? I think he's just taken a nail or a finger in his eye as Phillips.
Yeah, it's accidental. Phillips, I think you'd call that a slap in the chops. Arlo, he's got a bit of a sore one. Neto, I think he'll be all right though. It wasn't a clenched fist or anything. It was just a hand. These things happen. He stayed down.
He has stayed down.
I have to say, I would be staggered if he came off.
Well, he made his Portugal debut against Sweden last week, Daniel Podence. A signing in January from Olympiacos. David Coote in conversation with a couple of Leeds United players. I can't imagine that both he or Michael Oliver have had a great deal of sleep since Saturday.
There's a bit of blood there, I think, on Podence's. He's got a bloody nose.
Yeah, he's just having the old. It's like the cuts man from the corner in a boxing bout has just put the tissue across his nose as we take a look at Nuno Espirito Santo, arms folded, doesn't seem too concerned.
Yeah, the cotton buds up the nose there. When that happened to me, they needed rather large cotton buds. Hello.
I love your self-depreciation.
Yeah. Had to call for
situation.
More. Call for more
reinforcements
from the bench.
Well, Podence is still on the ground. Number 10 on his back. He's in a seated position at the moment, so hopefully he'll be okay. I don't think there was any malice in it from Calvin Phillips. It was a flailing arm that's caught him very awkwardly. A diminutive character, Daniel Podence, much like his opposite number, Pedro Neto, on the other side for Wolves. And he's just walking slowly and somewhat groggily to the sideline in his all reddish maroon kit and bright yellow boots. And we'll have to see if he's okay to continue. I don't know whether it's his nose or is it under his eye, Chris, where the collision and the contact has occurred, but I think he's going to be okay. But there's been a fairly lengthy stoppage into the 13th minute. If you're just joining us here on 5 Live Sport, Leeds 0, Wolves 0. Leeds with the better of the opening exchanges. Header forward towards Bamford. Willie Bolly is there. He lofts it high back into the Leeds half, and it'll trickle harmlessly behind for a goal kick to Leeds United. And Podence is back on the field, just rubbing his knuckle in his right eye. And I think that's the problem for him, but he's going to continue. He's on the left-hand side, Pedro Neto over on the right, and Rui Patricio is the centre-forward. And Leeds have started very well. And Rodrigo, number 20, who is a striker by trade, but he's in behind Patrick Bamford and dropping deep, collecting the ball and getting Leeds started into some of these attacks. A highly skilled player. Here's Ayling on the right touchline inside of Podence. Square ball to Calvin Phillips. First time down the line, but only as far as Saiss. And then Saiss's header only falls to Ayling, and it's sent through by Rodrigo again towards Bamford. Bamford may take advantage of a poor first touch by Cody. Cody just manages to smuggle the ball away, but they look a little stretched at the back in the early stages, Wolves, and it's Leeds United who are playing all the football and at the moment asking the questions.
Yeah, it's really well read though from Connor Cody. Patrick Bamford had made the run, but Leeds passing the ball so quickly, not taking the extra touch, have been so impressive. A lot of one-touch passing, and they look a real danger, and the Wolves back line will have to be really switched on to keep this Leeds team out.
Calvin Phillips with a long ball out to the right touchline to Luke Ayling, who's a very busy right wing back or full back.
Little fella.
Podence has now taken another blow. This time it's a yellow card to Luke Ayling, who brought the ball down successfully from Calvin Phillips, but then has lunged in somewhat to Podence, and Paul Podence is down on the ground again and may need more attention.
I think he caught him actually with his right forearm. I think it was accidental. It's a bit harsh too.
Well, he's limping away, Chris, isn't he, on that right leg?
I think he stood on him, and I mean, it sounds quite. This will sound quite bad. I mean, I think he stood on him. He was trying to sort of shield the ball away, and then he caught him with his right forearm. They've just shaken hands and cleared that up.
Yep.
Cleared that up. That was accidental though.
Robin Koch underneath this one, and he beats Raul Jimenez to the header, but the ball sails out of play. It's a throw into Wolves on their left-hand side, 5 yards or so inside the Leeds United half of play. As we approach the 15-minute mark, Leeds 0, Wolves 0.
They can lure you in though, Wolves, can't they, Arlo? Seen them many times. They'll sit deep and defend with discipline, be really organised, and all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, they're up the other end, and they have that talent at the top end of the pitch. Raul Jimenez.
Throw taken by Saiss into the midriff of Pedro Neto. Neto with some lovely footwork to evade Helder Costa, and goes towards the byline, and a sliding challenge by the Northern Ireland international Stuart Dallas is a very good one, because he kept the ball in play and then sent it down the line, and Leeds United could be away, and click down the right hand side towards Patrick Bamford. That draws Connor Cody over. 2 to aim for in the penalty area. Here's Rodrigo looking for support. Costa on his right foot against his former club, and he drags it wide. But talk about turning defence into attack in a blink of an eye. That's exactly what Leeds did there.
Yeah, one end to the other. Wonderful touch initially. The ball went into Patrick Bamford, outside of the right foot into midfield, and then he's put away down the right hand side. A cut back from the byline, and the ball eventually coming out to Costa, who's on the 18-yard line, and you can see his idea going for power, trying to find that far corner, but he pulls it wide of the Wolves' right-hand post. They look sharp though, Leeds.
Very much so. Spent 2 seasons at Wolves before joining Leeds when they were in the Championship. Helder Costa, he's got 2 Premier League goals so far this season, both in the 4-3 win here against Fulham. That's Paul from Meslier, gave the ball away to Dendoncker in the midfield, but Wolves can't capitalise, and it's back with the French goalkeeper in the all-orange kit, and he lofts it into the midfield area. Wolves win the header, and they're battling for possession, but it's Ayling that able to bring the ball under control, and Strauch finds Meslier. Have you ever been in a situation during the warm-up, Chris? I doubt it, probably, until maybe later in your career when you think you're going to be on the bench, but then somebody suffers a misfortune and you get the call.
I normally played or I was dropped, so there wasn't much. Yeah, there wasn't much in between. Thanks for asking.
No middle ground. All or nothing, Chris Sutton.
Yeah.
Here's Kilman. who's playing left centre-back, the tall, lanky figure, former England futsal international, signed from Maidenhead in non-league. Decent on the ball, turns away from Bamford and plays it back to Conor Cody, who spots the run straight away of Podence, tries to play the ball over the top. It's a little too flat, and Kopp wins the header and finds his teammate Phillips in the midfield, given away by Matthias Klick that time, and Wolves have it back, and they'll enjoy just a little bit of possession here after a fast start from Leeds United, 0-0 in the 18th minute. Here's Kilman again. He's got some room to manoeuvre here, and he crosses the halfway line on the inside left channel, threads the ball down the line. I think Podence wanted that to his feet. He played it beyond him, and it's all the way through to the Leeds goalkeeper, Meslier.
Yeah, and just signs there, Wolves weathering the early storm. That was an opportunity for them to set up an attack, but a little bit too impatient there.
Such expansive play from Leeds. They go into the midfield, and it pops back out to the right hand side to Klick. Then Ayling looking to play it in behind Kilman towards Helder Costa. Costa puts the pressure on him. It's off the Portuguese last. It's a Wolves throw in right by their own corner flag on the left hand side. Romain Saiz, who also played left wing back against Fulham. Johnny Otto is a long term injury absentee with a ruptured ACL, so it is an issue for Wolves, these wing-back positions, which are very important to Nuno Espirito Santo in the system that he plays week in, week out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not ideal. Saiz playing out on that left-hand side. Of course, they had Marcel, the signing from Lyon, who started the season there, but unfortunately got injured. So, bit of a square peg there.
He was injured against Manchester City, yeah. He's on the bench, Marcel, today. Here come Wolves then down the right-hand side, but that attack breaks down. And the ball back with Leeds United in their crisp white kits. And here's Luke Ayling, has to be careful on a yellow card. To the right touchline in Helder Costa, right under the nose of Nuno Espirito Santo. Down the line, that's a little wayward. Kilman might have a decision here. You'll have to see the ball out, and does. And it's a goal kick to Wolves. Rodrigo was putting him under some pressure. First Premier League goal against City. It was only 3 minutes after coming on as a substitute, and it was 9 years, 272 days since his last Premier League goal. That was for Bolton Wanderers against Wigan.
Yeah, I have to say, I just can't remember him at Bolton.
No.
We'll see him, well, he has done in the early part of the game. He's sort of on the drift. At times we see him up alongside Patrick Bamford, but then coming deeper, trying to make the play, try and get little overloads in the middle of the park. Leeds.
Klick's header falls to the chest of Moutinho, though. Here's Jimenez facing his own goal in his own half. Rolls it with the outside of his right boot back to Conor Cody. He thought about a pass towards Max Kilman, but he was being closed down by Helder Costa. Wolves in possession, but lose it very swiftly, and Pascal Struijk facing his own goalkeeper rolls it back gently to Meslier. Left-footed pass out to the corner of the area, and Luke Ayling. And Ayling has time as Wolves just drop off a tad. There's no high press from Wolverhampton Wanderers. Rodrigo tries to play it back into the advancing Ayling down the right-hand side, and they run out of room, and it's a Wolves throw.
Just had a sloppy 5 minutes, Leeds United. Everything clicked in the early part of the game. Very slick and fast passing, accurate passing. It's been off a little bit as of late. Wolves haven't offered much at all. I suppose, all the talk of Traore and the possibility of a new contract, looks like he's going to sign again. It's a surprise that he isn't starting this evening.
That was my next question to you. Here's Ayling on the right-hand touchline. Rolls it in towards Rodrigo. It was Kilman with the challenge. It falls here to Robin Koch, and he swings a ball out beautifully on the opposite side to Jack Harrison. Haven't seen a lot of him so far in the game. Very pacey, wide man towards the side of the penalty area. Now it's Stuart Dallas. The flick towards Matthias Klick. Dallas now looking to get to the byline, but can't get past Willy Boly. And Boly on his right foot sends it down the line for Wolves, and it's out of play off Klick, and it's a Wolves throwing up towards the halfway line, about 10 yards inside their own half. 0-0. Leeds against Wolves in the Premier League 22 minutes in. Jack Harrison, who had a really good start to the season, scored after 12 minutes, didn't he, the equaliser at Anfield in that 4-3 humdinger on the opening day. And now he's restored to the starting lineup, having been ineligible to face Manchester City.
I mean, I never understand that. So Manchester City basically are saying, we don't want you, but then you can't play against us? Come on. Talented player, though. Really talented player. And Leeds have plenty of them, don't they?
Robin Koch. Square ball to Pascal Struijk. And again, Wolves happy to just drop off and force Leeds United to work their way through them. Robin Koch again in the centre circle towards the halfway line, crosses into the Wolves half. He's looking for the expansive ball over the top of Willy Boly towards Jack Harrison. In fact, it's Semedo, out there, the former Barcelona man, and Harrison's all over him. But Semedo does well at the second attempt to bring the ball clear. Then he's fouled by Harrison, and Wolves have a free kick. Semedo's final appearance, Chris, for Barcelona was the 8-2 hammering by Bayern Munich in the Champions League quarter-final. But we are in an era when Wolverhampton Wanderers are signing first-teamers from Barcelona.
Yeah, they probably didn't scout him in that game, I suppose.
I don't think that tips the balance.
No. But, I mean, you have to say, I think that he's a pretty decent player they've signed. And it's interesting, that whole debate, Semedo, and I know Traore's played in that right wing back role this season, but I always think, is Traore wasted in that position, what he can offer in that final third? He's better off playing him higher up the pitch.
Yep, all in as cover for Matt Doherty, who was of course signed by Tottenham Hotspur. Leeds United have a goal kick, and it's taken short by Meslier to Robin Koch in the bright yellow boots. He gets the return ball from Calvin Phillips, and he invites Pascal Struijk just forward a touch. When they build up from the back, it seems to be a back four for Leeds United, with Stuart Dallas on the ball, plays it back to Struijk, just gave Raul Jimenez a hint of a chance, a sniff of the ball, but Struijk did well to get it back to Meslier. The lofted ball by Meslier to Ayling, just over the head of Podence, and it's patient play now by Leeds United as Wolves drop off. And here's Ayling again. Is he going to go over the top? He will try it, and Semedo has some work to do on the edge of his area, brings the ball down with his chest, turns away from Harrison, and does well down the touch line, and in the end it is a free kick to Leeds United.
Dallas just getting his body in front of Neto. It was Dallas actually started the game. We talked about their fluidity. Started the game in midfield. He's more of a left back now, but winning the ball higher up the pitch, and this is an opportunity for Leeds.
So the centre backs are forward. Wolves with their toes on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's a low service in, and headed clear well by that Wolves backline, and now they have an opportunity on the counter-attack. Neto is away down the right-hand side, and he's in possession. He's running towards the corner of the penalty area, sprinting up as Raul Jimenez. He's in the penalty area now, and he cuts back onto his left foot. An excellent defending. Look at the amount of players that Leeds United get back into the penalty area. I think it was it Ayling that got back? Yeah. There are about 6 Leeds players in a flash back, and only 2 Wolves players from that counter-attack. When it was in the process of the breaking away, Neto was away on his own on the right.
Yeah, and could you say a difference in desire there, because it's a really good break from Wolves, and Neto, who'd run a long way to get into the Leeds box, but only Jimenez in the box. And you're right, six Leeds players hurtling back towards their own goal.
They have collectively, on average, run the most of any Premier League team this season so far. Between them 114 kilometres, and by the way, Wolves 10 kilometres less. Only Fulham have covered less ground this season, but that's obviously, and we're seeing that in the opening 26 minutes, that's the style of these two sides. Leeds building down the left hand side, and the ball is behind, and it's a goal kick in the end, and it's a little bit of a waste, and Jack Harrison looks a little frustrated.
Well, I suppose the issues for Leeds over the last season, or the question mark I should say last season, was that Wolves, they had a little stutter again, didn't they, around Christmas time, previous season, where they were so far ahead and faltered and didn't get up. There were those questions last season, but they won the league comfortably. The intensity they've started at this season, the way that they've given the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City real contests and headaches. Can they keep that going though? Will they have the legs to last the season? A few additions in now which help in squad depth, but playing at this intensity, at this level, may not be easy for Leeds all season. I think they're going to have their moments, but so far they are so impressive.
Ball over the top by Moutinho is brought down beautifully by Neto on the right hand side, and he plays it infield to the edge of the penalty area, but the attack breaks down. It was Jimenez with his socks at half mast who couldn't bring the ball under control. Willy Bolly has stepped into the midfield, into the Leeds half. Back to goal is Jimenez, and then back to Bolly, and out to the right hand side it goes again. Neto running towards Stuart Dallas, tried to clip it into the penalty area. Dallas got a challenge in. Moutinho slides in on Patrick Bamford. It's come off Bamford last, and it's a Wolves throw in on their right hand side, halfway inside Leeds territory.
Yeah, Moutinho, the old stager. One change in the Wolves side tonight, coming in for Ruben Neves.
He's incredible, yeah. Chris. 34 now, and he's played in all 81 games for Wolves now since they returned to the Premier League. He was signed whilst in the Championship. That's impressive for a man of his advancing years in the centre of the park.
Yep, and he's the one I think they look to, the Wolves players, the organiser in midfield, one who keeps everything just ticking over nicely.
£5 million, I think, well spent in the summer of...
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
£5 million in this day
from
and
Monaco,
age?
Yeah. Only Luis Figo and Ronaldo have more caps for Portugal than João Moutinho. Player of real pedigree. Phillips for Leeds. Into the Wolves half, square ball to Dallas, who then advances into that midfield position. Here's Jack Harrison on the left-hand side against Semedo. It'll be a big test and a good test for Jack Harrison tonight against a player of Semedo's quality. Excellent movement by Harrison. Gets the ball back twice in that movement. Now he's in possession on the edge of the penalty area. Plays it out again to Dallas. Can they get a ball into the penalty area here, Leeds? It's gone back to Calvin Phillips, and then a ball wide towards Costa. He heads it in towards the 6-yard box. Kilman just about manages to keep it away from Patrick Bamford. It's smuggled out for a throw into Leeds United, but they were just clicking again in terms of their passing and moving as they approached the Wolverhampton Wanderers penalty area then. Still with Leeds, edge of the area now. Here's Rodrigo. Right hand side is Ayling towards the back post. It's just over the head of Bamford. Semedo got a header in. It'll be retrieved on the side of the area, left hand side by Jack Harrison. Like it goes to Dallas. Phillips is in support. Dallas goes to Click in the penalty area. Lovely layoff to Harrison. Harrison with the cross. It's a good one. It's flicked away, but only as far as Ayling, and it's cleared just in front of Patricio by Kilman.
Yeah.
Excellent build-up play by Leeds United, but Wolves stand firm.
Yeah, Max Kilman twice. First with a header, maybe didn't get enough purchase on the header to get it out of the box, and is a decent strike from Ayling. I wonder whether that was creeping in, but Kilman getting his right boot to it and away to safety for Wolves.
Signs that they've upped their game in the last couple of minutes, Leeds United, and they're in possession again. Ayling on the right hand side goes for the early cross. This time it's a good one. The flashing header though drops wide from Rodrigo, who was around about the penalty spot. It's a decent enough cross by Ayling, but Rodrigo with the header was a long way out.
Yeah, I think he mistimes his jump. It's a good ball in. It was bang on the penalty spot. Gets up early, Rodrigo. I don't know what he's actually thinking there. It's a strange header. In that situation, he should just be thinking, try and power that back towards the near post. He was trying to help it on into the far corner of the Wolves goal, but he got that horribly wrong.
It's an excellent flick on by Jimenez. But Leeds have it back, and Stuart Dallas plays it into the midfield.
They're not got going, have they, Wolves, Arlo, at all,
no.
Really?
I wonder if they've been set up to weather an early storm from Leeds United and gradually grow into the game. Wolves have won 2 and lost 2. They didn't win any of their opening 6, Chris, last season. They have been slow starters. There is only 34 days between seasons for them. Last season lasting famously over 380 days.
Is that pretty much, was it not the same for everybody? Maybe Wolves, I don't know, may have been slightly different, but I suppose it's not how you start.
Well, they're 2 seasons back. They finished 7th in both seasons, so things are going well at Molineux. Early stages here, 32 minutes gone. It's still 0-0 between Leeds and Wolves, and it's a square ball to Luke Ayling, right-hand side, always available for Leeds United, and he finds Costa in field to a very busy Rodrigo, lays it off to Calvin Phillips, right touchline again to Ayling down the line looking for Click, intercepted though by Romain Saiz, and Kilman will turn away from Rodrigo, calm defending by the tall Wolverhampton Wanderers defender, sends it up towards the halfway line. Koch beats Jimenez in the air, but then Jimenez has the ball down at his feet now and rolls it out to the left hand side to Podence, and it's Podence who's running at Robin Koch. Square ball to Moutinho. Leeds back in great number again. Here's Dendoncker wide to Neto on the right hand side, and any chance of a counter attack here for Wolverhampton Wanderers has gone, but then Neto gets to the byline and wins his side a corner. Strauch just manages to get his left foot to a very low cross and put it behind.
Well, he did well, Strauch, because Neto, good little dribbler he is, throws it a step over and goes past, I think it's Dallas, too easily there, and Strauch had to be aware as the ball was on its way to Jimenez, who would have had an easy tap in. But a chance for Wolves, and this is where I do see them as a threat. Got some big guys, centre backs.
Well, look in the centre circle, Chris. Who's there? Connor Cody.
Yeah, that is a surprise.
They don't put him forward, do they? And even after scoring that goal for England, Nuno Espirito Santo says, no, I don't see it changing. He's going to be the guy that's on the cover in the centre circle. So there is a line of Wolves attackers. Here comes the corner towards the near post, and Rui Patricio is going to be disappointed with that. He was beyond the near post. It was slightly behind him, perhaps. Anyway, his effort has gone way over and wide.
Yeah, it was Jimenez who'd made the run across the near post. Another one off the training ground, and he will be disappointed with that. Just beyond the near post, but a player of his quality, the pace on the ball, he just has to get the connection right and cushion the volley on target.
They had all the big men in a line at the back, and then suddenly Patricio, I keep saying Patricio,
that would have been a massive surprise this early on in the game. Rui Patricio thrown up at 0-0.
That would, but he made a lovely run towards the near post, which caught Leeds somewhat by surprise. Long ball forward is easy for Patricio. Let's get that right. Here's Dendoncker, turns away from Phillips, fouled by Phillips, and Dendoncker I think has been hurt in that collision. He's on the floor on his hands and knees. Phillips gives him a pat on the back. Here comes David Coote, the referee. Dendoncker's back up again and appears to be okay. 0-0, 35 minutes gone. Leeds against Wolves.
This isn't going to end 0-0. This can't end 0-0.
We've had our first of the season today, Chris, haven't we?
There was a ball fest earlier, wasn't it?
West Brom against Burnley, the first 0-0 for 60 games. Robin Koch with a header back towards his goalkeeper from that long free kick. And I think Chris thought that might have been looping over Meslier, but thankfully for the French goalkeeper, it was into his midriff. No harm done. Here's Ayling on the right-hand side into the Wolves half, then checks back to Robin Koch, who's closed down by Jimenez. Ayling. And he finds Strauch. Strauch has all the time in the world to just stroke out a left-footed pass to Stuart Dallas. Now on the left-hand touchline is Harrison. He's going to have a little run here at Nelson Semedo. Now it's Rodrigo with the cross towards Bamford. It's a good header, a flicked header away by Connor Cody, and it had to be before it could arrive on the forehead of Bamford. Right-hand side is Ayling. Corner of the penalty area, Mateusz Click on the side of the area now, plays it into the penalty area. Now it's back with Phillips, lofted ball, left-footed volley towards Bamford, and it's, I think, put behind for a goal kick, or is it a corner kick? No, it is a goal kick. Connor Cody was defending. It was a super ball over from Harrison.
Well, it was a wonderful first time ball out from Phillips to Harrison, who's on the left-hand side of the box. Harrison, lovely shape, left-footed volley, fires it across. I don't know whether it's a shot or a cross. Anyway, Patrick Bamford, 7 yards out, centre of the goal. I think he was onside. Just gets a really poor connection. The ball slightly behind him, but unfortunate not to adjust enough to get that on target, because Patricio would have had no chance from that range.
It was excellent football again from Leeds United. Gareth Southgate is in attendance tonight. I think he lives nearby, maybe in the Harrogate area, so not much of a journey for him today. And here's Robin Koch with the ball at his feet, the German international, signed in the summer. Had a rude awakening to the Premier League when he conceded a penalty in the first couple of minutes at Anfield, but he's growing in stature game by game. Leeds in the midfield with Calvin Phillips, and he turns away from Jimenez and rolls it along the halfway line to Robin Koch, and that's a lovely ball drilled into the feet of Rodrigo. And here go Leeds United again on the left-hand side now, and the ball down towards the byline is Stuart Dallas, who gets his cross in, and it's Willy Bolly at the near post who gets it away. And it's dynamic from Leeds, and there's movement all over the park, and they're swift in possession, accurate with their passes, and Wolves have been stretched once or twice but repelled them so far.
Yep, and they've actually defended the box very, very well, Wolves have, so far, but going forward I've been really disappointed with Wolves. It's been all Leeds.
Attempted cross on that left hand side by Harrison, and eventually he gets another opportunity, and he's won his side a corner, and he's been, after a quiet opening 10 minutes or so, Jack Harrison, he's seeing a lot of the ball over on that left flank. 38 minutes gone, Leeds 0, Wolves 0 on 5 Live Sport. And Leeds have a corner on their left-hand side, just in front of the corner of the stand between the south stand and the east stand, which is yellow seats, and it's taken side-footed towards the edge of the area, and it's a shot left-footed, which is cannoned off a Wolves defender and gone wide. It was Harrison again on the edge of the penalty area. Another excellent routine by Leeds United. He'll be disappointed with the contact he made with his left foot, and he's still there again, just hovering on the edge of the area. The corner taken, it's flicked off the head of Bolly, falls here at the far post once again. This time it's Rodrigo, left-footed shot is straight at Patricio, and the chance is lost.
Yeah, and Wolves going zonal. Bolly wins the first header, but all he does is flicks it onto Rodrigo, who's pulled away round at the back post and takes a touch on his chest, left foot, and straight into the arms of Patricio. Should have done better, but the earlier chance from Harrison, edge of the box, was a similar corner to one they hit in the early stages. Leeds and Harrison had his shot blocked, but Wolves really should be switched on. That's twice they've been caught out by the same corner routine.
Well, Luke Ayling has been absolutely terrific in the opening stages. He just floated a lovely ball into the midfield to Rodrigo, whose movement has been spellbinding at times. And they are a very, very good team to watch in possession, Leeds United. Here's Robin Koch just coming into the Wolverhampton half on the right-hand side. Here's Ayling, cuts inside of Neto. Neto and Podence have switched flanks for Wolves. Hilda Costa, right-hand side, ball on his left foot. Inside he goes to Calvin Phillips. Phillips is closed down by Moutinho. Sends it back to Pascal Strauch. Here's Stuart Dallas, who has, as ever, Jack Harrison available on the left touchline. Back it goes to Stuart Dallas, who scored an own goal for Northern Ireland in that solitary defeat to Norway, 1-0 in the last international break. Click, left-hand side, on his right foot. Back it goes in turn, and the cross towards the back post is headed clear again by the Wolves defence before it could arrive at Patrick Bamford. Ayling on the right hand side for Leeds, who are dominating possession, dominating the chances, but thus far haven't made the breakthrough. Strauch, 15 yards, 20 yards outside the penalty area, floats a ball over to the left hand side. The cross comes in towards the near post. Rodrigo, the closest Leeds man to it. Bolly got it clear. Wolves have given it away. Phillips won it back, and Leeds have possession once again. And at the moment it's a bit of a siege on that Wolves penalty area.
Yeah, it is. It's wave after wave. Wolves just cannot get out. Credit to Leeds winning the ball back quickly.
Can Wolves hold on until the break? Costa inside of Saiz, right corner of the penalty area. Ayling offers his support, stands the ball up. Well, he's hoping towards the back post, but it's drifted harmlessly over Rui Patricio's goal, and it's a goal kick to Wolves. We're in the 42nd now, 43rd minute. Leeds 0, Wolves 0.
Yeah, and I think that Nuno Espirito Santo. I don't think he'll be happy with the performance in the first half, but ultimately it looks like they'll go in level at the break, and then you're looking whether Traore, would he be the one to put on the game changer, because they've offered very, very little going forward. Jimenez has had an okay start to the season. I wonder whether he's missing Diogo Jota, who of course are at Liverpool now, but they linked up so well, didn't they, last season for Wolves. Just not quite happened in an attacking sense. There's something missing for Wolves this season going forward.
Yep, Jota sold to Liverpool. Doherty provided a lot on that right-hand side, both in terms of assists and goals.
Good point, yeah.
They've left permanently. Morgan Gibbs-White, Ruben Vinagre, they've left on loan. Here's Ayling, right-hand side for Leeds on the halfway line. Back he goes to Robin Koch. And Koch just assessing his options, just prodding the ball forward with his right boot. Thought about a ball over the top, but goes square to the 21-year-old Pascal Struijk, who slotted in beautifully alongside Robin Koch after that injury in the warm-up to Liam Cooper. Wolves defending well in their right-back area. Dendoncker back to Semedo, and he had the ball over the top towards Jimenez, who turns away, and he was frustrated. It might be on again. Jimenez ran towards Semedo, then quickly turned around and sprinted towards that Leeds goal, but again the ball didn't arrive. Still with Wolves though, sent down the line by Saiz, one for Neto to chase. Ayling is the defender. Neto towards the byline, needs a little moment of skill here to prevent Ayling taking the ball back. Neto now running back towards the corner of the penalty area, back all the way to João Moutinho, and he drew the foul very professionally and skillfully of Mateus Klich, and Klich will be frustrated, as I'm sure Bielsa will be. He was going nowhere there, Moutinho. Now a free kick right on the touchline, 15 yards inside that Leeds half on the left-hand side.
Yeah, are they going to throw Gilman and Bolly forward? They are. Maybe they'll get something from a set piece, because it doesn't look like it's going to really happen for Wolves in open play. They've been really disappointing. Hasn't hurt Leeds at all.
Familiar coloured shirt for João Moutinho from his many Portugal appearances, but he leaves it to his fellow countryman Pedro Neto with the left foot, and he swings it towards the penalty area. It's a deep searching cross. It's excellent goalkeeping by Meslier to punch it clear. He's been fouled in the process, and he gets a couple of pats on the back of his head from his defenders. That was commanding goalkeeping by the young Frenchman. He's only 21 years of age. Illiam Meslier.
Well, I did the game where they played Arsenal in the FA Cup last season. I think that may have been his first game, and he was really composed. I know he's had one of the passes out from the back which went astray in the first half, but very, very good on the ball, but that was confident from him.
Well, we're going into 2 minutes of stoppage time now, and Leeds have a corner kick after a long ball down that right-hand side. Kilman conceded it, almost taken quickly by Helder Costa, but he places it down and waits for Calvin Phillips to stride across to take this one right-footed. And forward come Robin Koch and Pascal Struijk, the centre-backs. Left arm raised by Phillips. It's a deep service towards the back post. It's over all of his teammates, and Costa will retrieve it on the left-hand side for Leeds United, who still have possession in stoppage time here at Ellen Road at the end of the first half, which has been dominated by Leeds, but Wolves have kept them out so far. Back it goes to Meslier. Left-footed first-time ball from Calvin Phillips, took a deflection off Jimenez, made it a little awkward for Semedo, but he dealt with it pretty well. He prods the ball back to Willy Bolly. I think Wolves will be happy to see the half-time whistle. Leeds disappointed, perhaps they've not made their pressure tell in the first 45 minutes. Here come Wolves though, showing some promise on the counter-attack, and Dendoncker showing some good pace as he goes in towards the penalty area on his right foot, and he wins his side a corner. Does he know it's with Saiz? Saiz back, Podence surely, saved by Meslier. Well, they kept the ball in brilliantly through Dendoncker, who showed a real turn of pace. His long ball found Saiz, he calmly rolled it back towards Podence, and the save was made by Meslier.
Yeah, it's a lovely pass outside of the left boot from Neto, and the ball hung up. Saiz pulled it back. Podence, lovely first touch. to take him away from the Leeds defender, and then he powers a shot. I think he should score, but Meslier, credit to him, he reads it really well and keeps it out of the Leeds net. Crucial save.
Well, Patrick Bamford, Chris, said after the Sheffield United game, where Leeds won 1-0 earlier this season, that the Sheffield United players were saying, who is this guy? Because they just couldn't beat him, and he's terrific again when called upon here. And is it fair to say that Bielsa would be the happier of the two managers at half-time?
I think so, in terms of the way the game's gone, but I suppose he would want Rui Patricio to have been worked far more than he has been. Leeds have been the dominant team. Big save at the end from Meslier, maybe a save which you expect him to make, albeit a big presence, but I've been really disappointed with Wolves and the lack of intent in forward areas.
In contrast, Mark, Leeds very sharp, very expansive, energetic, but so far without a goal. Half-time here, Leeds 0, Wolves 0. Thanks, Mark. Wolves have won one of their last 16 top-flight visits here since 1964. They've lost 13 of them. It was a 3-1 win, March 1981. How about this for a score sheet? Andy Gray, John Richards were on the score sheet that day. Yeah. That evokes memories. As Mark was saying before the game, when the Wolves are a top-flight side, Leeds obviously a top-flight side. And both have been on sort of odysseys in recent years, down the divisions. But here they are, meeting for the third time in the top flight in 38 years. Two proud, huge English football institutions. No changes at half-time. And so I'll go through as we get back underway. Patricio in goal for Wolves. Back three of Bolly, Cody, Kilman. Semedo, the right wing-back. Dendoncker, Moutinho in the centre with Saiz, the left wing-back. Neto, Jimenez and Podence. That's the Wolverhampton Wanderers lineup. Leeds, the home side. Meslier in goal. He's been excellent so far. Back four, Ayling, Koch, Strauch and Stuart Dallas. Helder Costa and Harrison, the wide men. Phillips and Click in the centre of the park. Rodrigo Moreno drifting around, creating and picking the ball up deep, and Patrick Bamford is the main striker. Not missing anything. Start of the second half here, 0-0. Wolves with a throw on their left-hand side, attacking the goal to our right-hand side. And it's taken down the line. And it's a decent looking turn by Jimenez, and he's fouled by Robin Koch in the free kick on the halfway line over on the left for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah, Koch getting too tight there. Jimenez, who used his body well and rolled him. I think the issue for Wolves in that first half is Jimenez has been really isolated, and they're looking for individual pieces of skill from Neto or Podence. Almost a perfect goal, Wolves.
Ball chipped down the left-hand side towards Saiz. I've noticed, and there's another example, Chris, of it there, where there was a free kick and Jimenez made a darting run in behind, and it didn't arrive, and he sort of looked at the sky as if to say, give me one over the top, and then all of a sudden got over that very quickly and came short. And the free kick was taken to him, and he got Wolves moving down the left-hand side. So he's busy, he's making the runs. There's a reluctance to play the ball over the top at the moment.
Yep, and as we all know, good strikers thrive off chances. You just wonder tonight, I mean, there's been scraps for him. No real shooting opportunities.
And the one chance he did have, I called him Rui Patricio, so it's not really his night so far. Here's Stuart Dallas on the left-hand side. Infield he goes for Leeds United to Calvin Phillips, and now with Pascal Strauch. And if you're just joining us and you're a Leeds fan, a little confused, Strauch in the team, in the starting 11 after Liam Cooper was injured in the warm-up. He was struggling with a muscle problem on international duty for Scotland, and Cooper, the club captain, didn't make it. And Strauch, who's been excellent so far, the youngster, 21 years old, from Holland, and that's a heavy challenge by Dendoncker on Calvin Phillips right on the halfway line. Free kick, and David Coote comes over, he's got a little grin on his face and decides against taking any further action with a yellow card, and Phillips is back on his feet.
Yeah, Dendoncker, a little bit naughty that. Sort of, could have seen a card. Dendoncker telling Phillips to get up, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Well, the free kick was taken down the left-hand side. Harrison with some terrific first-time control and strength to see off Nelson Semedo, and Semedo's fouled him, and it's a free kick 5 yards in from the touch line and around about the corner of the penalty area, and Calvin Phillips has placed this ball down very carefully, strides back to take this from the Leeds left, right-footed. He does so, and he's got too much on that, I think, and yes, straight to Rui Patricio, who can get Wolves starting with a potential counter-attack, but then holds on to the ball, and that appears to be the Wolves' approach. They're in no particular hurry to do anything tonight.
And then Leeds set up and they push players on. Wolves can't play out. Oh, they have thrown it out from the back this time, but volley under pressure. It's really good pressing, Rodrigo, on that occasion. And guess what? Leeds have the ball back, and that's pretty much been the story of the game.
Yeah, Bolly was pressured, sent the ball directly out to play on the halfway line, and here are Leeds through Stuart Dallas. That's a lovely ball, fizzed through the midfield to Ayling. Ayling leaves it for Costa, and Ayling on the overlap. Saiz is the defender. He gets the cross in. It's deflected, I think, and then into the arms of Rui Patricio. But again, the way that Leeds can switch the point of attack from flank to flank is impressive.
Look at that. I mean, dear me.
Patricio's just sent a left-footed goal kick just from his hands straight out of play on the halfway line. Traore, your man, Chris, is warming up.
Well, I think that there'll be a far bigger threat if and when he does come on. But, I mean, you're talking Wolves, who are an established Premier League side as such, 2 7th-place finishers, and they can't get up the pitch. They don't have the courage or belief or know-how to get up the pitch. There's another punt, and guess what? Calvin Phillips wins the ball. Leeds are onto absolutely everything.
Wolves struggling to get out of their own half at the moment.
Well, they're not a team of kids, are they? You know, they're some experienced players in there. Jimenez, Moutinho, you know, we talk about Dendoncker.
There's another example there. The throw-in from Semedo taken in field towards Moutinho, and Click got there first. And Leeds have it back because it forced Wolves to make a long clearance straight towards the Leeds defence. Here's Costa looking for the run of Click on the right corner of the penalty area. That breaks down. Dendoncker finds Moutinho. He clips it forward towards Jimenez. That's a lovely layoff. And here's Podence into the Leeds half, and he rolls it out to the left-hand side. And there are possibilities on the attack here for Wolves. The cross comes in towards the 6-yard box. It's Robin Koch who got a sliding intervention in. Jimenez might win his side a corner. No, Costa is back and sends it down the line, and that's arguably Wolves' best moment as I think back through the Rolodex of the first half. That was a decent counter-attack but came to nothing. But they have the ball again. Neto, Semedo, right hand side, facing his own goal. He's got Harrison snapping at his heels, a little overzealous that time, Jack Harrison. It's a free kick to Wolves, 15 yards in from the byline.
Yeah, but that attack clicked for Wolves. There's a lovely deft touch from Jimenez, and Wolves are away. Good cross in from Saiz, but Koch in the right position.
So Joao Moutinho will take it. We have a plethora of substitutes warming up down beneath us. Wolves have the green bibs on, Leeds have the blue bibs on. And here's Moutinho, who places the ball down. White sweatbands on his wrists. Cody has stayed back as per, but the other centre-backs are forward, and Moutinho takes it, swings it into the penalty area. Elder Costa with the header clear. Strauch with the header clear, and Costa almost got away on the counter-attack. Cody did well, and he sprays a lovely ball out to the right touchline to Podence, who brings the ball under his spell towards the side of the penalty area. Back on his left foot, now he's right, and he chips it into the edge of the 6-yard box. He'll fall here to Romain Saiz with the left foot. What a finish! Romain Saiz for Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've been pegged back for a vast majority of the game, but after 52 minutes, Wolves take the lead, and Saiz with a crisp left-footed shot past Meslier into the bottom corner. Leeds 0, Wolves 1.
Stunning from Saiz. There's a wonderful crossfield ball. I think they're checking it on VAR from Conor Cody into Podence, so this may not count, which would be undeserved from Saiz's point of view. Podence stands the cross up, and Saiz, wonderful left foot volley, takes a touch and lashes it, probably 16 yards out at the angle, maybe 18 yards out, and lashes it into the far corner.
Well, Michael Oliver will be taking a look at this, Chris, and it's the opposite situation to we have in the Merseyside derby, because David Coote is the on-field referee. These two between them disallowed the Sadio Mane goal, the Jordan Henderson goal for Sadio Mane's offside. The ball came out from Cody to Podence. Is that the initial offside that they're checking? Podence on the right flank. It's going to be very tight.
Oh, it is tight.
And then there will be a potential offside once Saiss. Yeah, it's going to be disallowed. Offside.
Wow. That's another one of those. It is so close, and have to feel for Wolves. It was such a brilliant strike. It really was.
And it was Podence who was offside.
Yeah.
And he'll be disappointed. He's looking across the whole line as well. It was, to the naked eye, far clearer than the Sadio Mane in the Merseyside derby. So the goal is chalked off.
Was it far clearer?
I think I've seen a still, and I think so. Neto, right hand side for Wolves, who are growing into the game all of a sudden. Semedo dispossessed by Strauch. Wolves have a throw in just outside the line of the penalty area, and Nuno Espirito Santo just kind of wandering around his technical area, arms folded in his white trainers and black tracksuit bottoms and his big heavy coat, and he'll be disappointed. Not as disappointed as Saiss after an absolutely sensational finish.
He's probably never scored a better goal than that in his life. We associate him being more of a defensive player, playing in that left wing back role. But that was brilliant. The technique, the power.
Foul throw. Semedo.
You can't do a foul throw.
It looked a little dodgy when he took it. I was thinking nobody was appealing for it.
Come on. You do foul throws when you're at the 10, don't you?
Yeah. They won't be happy with that. Saiss did score here for Wolves in the Championship a couple of years ago. Thought he'd given his side the lead here in the Premier League, and it's chalked off.
It may have been a good goal, but it wasn't as good. I've not seen it, so I couldn't tell you. But it wouldn't have been as good as the one he hit tonight.
So 0-0, 55 minutes gone here at Ellen Road on 5 Live Sport. Semedo with the throw-in just inside the Leeds half on the right-hand side. They'll try again from 10 yards further up.
So with the US soccer in that situation, how do they do the VAR there? If on the naked eye it's too close to call, I think they award it, don't they? Which I don't mind that, you know.
There is an element of that, isn't there? Not the minuteness. Podence, excellent left-footed effort. It looked to be curling inside Mellier's right-hand post. He leapt and put it behind for a corner kick. All of a sudden, Chris, Wolves are on top.
Yeah, a bit of confidence. Lovely give and go there with Dendoncker. Weighted the ball back to Podence, who drove and left-footed. There's another good save from the big Leeds keeper. Big right hand to push it round the post.
Well, he was on loan from Lorient last season, and he cost around about £4 to £5 million, and he looks an absolute steal at that price, Illian Meslier. He's kept Wolves at bay, and Wolves showing more attacking intent in the last few minutes than they have done all night so far. So we've got a situation here where there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Wolves players, all the tall trees on the edge of the penalty area in a line. Now last time we saw Jimenez dart towards the near post, and they all disperse, and there's Jimenez again at the near post, and Ayling, I think, well, it's gone behind for a goal kick anyway. Might even been a foul by Jimenez, but the chance is lost.
A couple of times now, isn't it? He makes that run across the near post, gets away from his marker, just didn't get the connection there, Jimenez, but really Leeds should be switched on to that.
Rodrigo made a terrific run in behind that Wolves defence, but the ball went high towards the left-hand side, and here's Harrison, and he hands the ball up into that penalty area. Costa with the header, and we saw Harrison teeing up Bamford late on against Sheffield United. Similar scenario, lovely curling cross. In the end, it was a pretty tame effort, and at the other end, and the game is really opening up now, and here's Neto towards the byline. The cross comes in, and it doesn't reach Jimenez on the back post, and all of a sudden there's all sorts of space out there as Wolves have become more expansive, particularly on the counter-attack, committing more men forward with more energy, and that means there's a bit of a end-to-end ding-dong start to this second half.
Yes, it's a better spectacle, isn't it? Wolves having a go.
Harrison again, side of the penalty area, gets the ball back from Dallas. Here's the cross in to the 6-yard box. It was an awkward looking piece of defending by Kilman, but effective in the end. He managed to just play the ball back towards his goalkeeper, Rui Patricio.
He didn't mean to. He got really lucky. Good little give and go. And the cross from Harrison across the 6-yard line, off his right boot onto his left calf. and back to Patricio.
That
was clever.
Highly skilled defending. Here's Dendoncker for Wolves. The give and go, but it's broken up by that Leeds midfield. And here's Calvin Phillips, but his pass out towards Harrison is intercepted by Neto. And now here's Raul Jimenez, who's running at this Leeds United defence, and he's just wriggled the ball through the legs of Stuart Dallas. Here's Podence, who's now in a genuine number 10 role, the number 10. But Jimenez, lovely chop back onto his left foot, beats another defender. Can he get a shot away? He's outnumbered in the end. Click did very well to get back and dispossess him. But Podence is causing a lot of problems for Leeds United, drifting around from right to left, often picking the ball up in the centre as well. And that's provided that link that Jimenez hasn't had all night so far.
Absolutely spot on. They lack that in the first half. And clever little reverse ball. I think Jimenez had an opportunity to get a shot off. He went past the Leeds centre half and it just opened up, and he decided to take the extra touch, and chance gone.
0-0, Leeds and Wolves as we approach the hour mark, the 60th minute, and Adama Traore just bends his left leg back, stretching those considerable thigh muscles as he continues his warm-up down beneath us with his white boots on. It can only be a matter of time perhaps, although Nuno Espirito Santo may be quite content with the way things have gone in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
He's got a bit of food for thought now whether to chuck Traore on, because they are starting to link. I mean, this can't have been part of the game plan. You know, they'll show no intent in the first half of going forward, and yet in the second half some of the link up from Wolves has been very good, and at this moment in time they're looking the more potent team.
Semedo with the throw in, right hand side for Wolves, 15 yards inside the Leeds half. He took it to Jimenez, who's seeing a lot more of the ball in this second half so far. Just signed a new 4-year contract at Wolves. Click, that's a nice bit of midfield play to find Luke Ayling, who's right in the centre of the park here for Leeds. And the long ball forward by Calvin Phillips is a searching one towards Helder Costa. Saiss, who had that goal chalked off, did well to get back and find a teammate with a header. It's a high clearance, but not a long clearance by Patricio, and calmly dealt with by Calvin Phillips, who brought the ball down on his chest and found a teammate on that right-hand side. Here's João Moutinho for Wolves, running away from his penalty area in possession, sends it behind Semedo. A late challenge, I think, by Calvin Phillips on Moutinho, who looks to be in a lot of pain, and it's a yellow card for Calvin Phillips, who just left one on Moutinho a little bit late, and he's not the sort of player that would writhe around in supposed agony, I don't think, unless he had been caught.
Yeah, just seeing this again, he pops the ball off, and he raises his hand in acknowledgement, because he treads on Moutinho's right ankle, and Moutinho still banging his left leg against the floor. I'd be surprised if he's going to be able to carry on. He's in a lot of pain there.
Ruben Neves would be the obvious replacement, wouldn't he, for Wolves? But these are worrying times. He was slapping the turf, wasn't he, in pain there, João Moutinho, 34 years of age. Marcelo Bielsa, as we look down, is in his crouch position. Oh no, gets back to his feet again, striding around his technical area, just wondering what card he can play off the bench to change things. He affected the game very well against Manchester City, bringing on Jan Poveda and Rodrigo, who's starting today, and they changed the game, and they eventually got a 1-1 draw. But Adama Traore has taken his tracksuit top off as Moutinho limps away from the scene, hobbling on that right leg. Appears to be okay to continue. And Conor Cody takes the free kick out towards the Wolves' right. Semedo picks up the loose ball, does very well, wriggles through a challenge, beats Phillips, and he sends an excellent ball through. It was a good idea towards Saiss on that left-hand side. Just tried to slide it in behind the full-back, but in the end there was too much on it, and Meslier able to smother.
Yeah, smart keeping again from the youngster.
Click in possession for Leeds United, plays it square across the penalty area. Bamford can't get there. Bamford's been peripheral, haven't really seen him on the end of any major chances, save a couple of half chances in the opening 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, they've just been off it in the second half. Leeds hasn't quite clicked. Wolves have shown more intent, haven't they?
Rodrigo back to Click, right corner of the penalty area. Helder Costa, arriving in support is Luke Ayling. Could be a chance of a cross, and it's sent in towards that back post, and Bamford did well to bring the ball down. It was an awkward ball, it was over his left shoulder, and in the end the touch was just too heavy and it goes behind.
Yeah, he was unlucky, Bamford, pulled away at the far post, all out on the right hand side for Leeds. And Costa drives inside. I don't know whether he was marginally offside, trying to use his body and twizzle round Semedo, but takes a heavy touch and out for a goal kick.
64th minute on 5 Live Sport, and it's Leeds 0, Wolves 0. Wolves with a goal disallowed for offside, courtesy of VAR. We've got Champions League action for you tomorrow. PSG versus Manchester United. Full commentary of that from 8 o'clock. Chelsea, Sevilla will have a reporter at that game. Wednesday, Champions League again. This is a mouth-watering one too. Ajax against Liverpool, full match commentary from 8, and updates from Manchester City against Porto. The Premier League resumes on Friday. Leeds travel to Aston Villa to test their 100% record. Kick-off 8 p.m, all on 5 Live Sport this week. Here's Stuart Dallas, left-hand side for Leeds United. He clips the ball behind that Wolves defence towards Jack Harrison, who was yards away from the byline, tried to hook his left foot around it to get a cross in, but it harmlessly goes behind. And here comes Adama Traore for Wolves.
Yeah, and it's Pedence going off, which I have to say,
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm really unhappy about that, because he's in my fantasy team, and I don't know whether I get.
I thought there was some keen tactical point you were going to make.
Not bothered about about where Wolves finish. But Traore, I said at half time that the way Wolves, or the lack of intent they'd shown in the first half, was crying out for Traore. This new contract he's going to sign. He's such an important player. Such great pace, but the delivery now over the last season and a half, I think he's really improved in the final third.
Earned his first 3 caps for Spain during the last break, so he is now cap tied to the Spanish national side. And there he is on the right hand side, that bulky muscular figure, white boots on. It's a marginal surprise that Podence was taken off. He was having a growing influence on the game as well, but he's decided to take Podence off and keep Neto on.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you would have said in this second half that Podence had been far more influential than Neto. You see a yellow card there.
Neto looks to have gone into a more central role, perhaps pulling strings behind Raul Jimenez. Free kick for Leeds was taken a little bit too quickly. Does he want to show a yellow card here?
Coutinho getting a yellow card, foul on Dallas. Slightly harsh, I thought.
Free kick right on the halfway line, just towards the left-hand side for Leeds United, to be taken by Calvin Phillips. He's just peering around at teammates. And he strokes the ball with his right foot square to Robin Koch. Into the Wolves half it goes. Back to Robin Koch again. Jack Harrison down the left-hand side, just desperately trying to stay on side for a ball over the top of Semedo, but it goes all the way back to Meslier. 67th minute, 0-0 at Ellen Road. Somehow Romain Saiz had that goal disallowed for offside for Wolves, who have just come out of their shells collectively in this second period so far, after barely offering anything in the first 45 minutes. Here's Pascal Strout for Leeds. Left-footed, side-footed pass across the back line to Robin Koch. And Bamford is down the middle, and Bolly's got his eye on him, just making sure that he'd be offside if he made a run, and it's a ball floated out to the Leeds left, but it sails over Harrison's head and goes behind. And as you say, Chris, a little more untidy by Leeds. Yeah,
just become sloppy in this second half, haven't they? Maybe taken the foot off the gas, maybe slightly more cautious in their approach, because they've been caught out once or twice by Wolves.
Throw-in taken, and a challenge by Robin Koch on Raul Jimenez, who hobbled away from that. I assume he's wearing shin pads, Jimenez. You have to, but his socks are Jack Grealish-like, at half-mast, yes. Aren't they?
Yeah, you got there before me. Got that Grealish look.
Mexico international, Raul Jimenez, who has been absolutely terrific for Wolves. 27 goals in all competitions last season, 17 of them in the Premier League. He's scored 2 of their 4 goals so far this season. They were in the opening 2 games against Sheffield United and Manchester City. Hard worker, good finisher. Will he have something to say about the outcome of this game before it ends here in South Yorkshire? Lovely bit of skill by Pedro Neto, and he's evaded 3 Leeds players out on that left flank. Still in possession now, a little isolated. Arriving is Moutinho infield, but he goes back towards Saiss. And here's Willy Bolly right on the centre spot, being chased by Bamford, trying to work the ball out towards Adama Traore in that right-hand side for Wolves, but it's cut out successfully by Stuart Dallas. And here is Jack Harrison. He looks to bend the ball in behind that Wolves defence towards Rodrigo's making the run. Rodrigo with a challenge on Cody, who goes to ground as Cody got it cleared on the right-hand side. No free kick, says David Coote, and we play on, and Strauch has it for Leeds in his own half. And here's Calvin Phillips up towards the halfway line, wide to the right hand side to the ever available Luke Ayling. Haven't seen as much of him since a very energetic opening half an hour. Here's Stuart Dallas, brings the long ball under control, peers up and sees that Adama Traore is in front of him, so plays it back to his centre-back Strauch. Now Phillips, they swing the ball out towards the right-hand side, Leeds United. It's a left-footed ball in towards Click on the edge of the area, but Wolves are handling everything that Leeds throw at them in this second half. And then there's a slip by Strauch, and here's Jimenez, right side of the penalty area for Wolves. Facing goal now, he's past Strauch, and he's past another defender. He's on his left foot, he's about 20 yards out. Can he get a shot in? Wants to get it on his right foot, it's taken a deflection, and it's gone in. And it's Calvin Phillips who it deflected off, completely wrong-footing Meslier. Will he be offered the goal, and would it be his third of the season for Raul Jimenez? We'll have to wait and see, but he did all the work himself, running across that penalty area, cut back onto his right foot. Calvin Phillips, there's not much he could do about it, and Wolves have taken the lead here. It's Leeds 0, Wolves 1. It's either a Jimenez goal or a Calvin Phillips own goal.
Yeah, it's a long diagonal ball, and Strike, he slips. Jimenez picks the ball up, drifts past him on the edge of the box, shapes to shoot with his left foot, and then he chops back inside, and it's a pretty tame effort which Meslier is going to save easily, and Phillips instinctively puts his head in the way and tries to block the ball, but all he does is inadvertently guides the ball into the corner. And Wolves, offered nothing in the first half, take the lead in the second half.
I think he'll get the goal, Chris, because the shot, although tame, it looked on target.
Yep.
So I think he'll be awarded the goal, which is how it should be, really. Calvin Phillips, the unfortunate defender. Helder Costa has been removed from the action. There's a player down for Leeds United. It's Pascal Strauch in the penalty area who's having attention at the moment. I didn't see the incident which led to that injury.
Maybe off the diagonal ball, whether he certainly slipped over, whether he injured himself in doing so. And then Jimenez picked the ball up, went past him, and the rest is history. Well, had Calvin Phillips actually left it, it would have been an easy save for the goalkeeper.
Well, Jan Poveda is on, and we mentioned him earlier, a wide man on the right-hand side, who was very good when he came on against Manchester City in the last home game for Leeds. And Marcelo Bielsa in that crouched position again. It's the footballing equivalent of the old rope-a-dope at the moment. Wolves sitting on the ropes, taking a couple of blows, but nothing that knocked them out, and then gradually they've grown into the fight here at Ellen Road, and they are ahead on points. 1-0 they lead. Harrison is on the left touch line. Stuart Dallas plays it back though to Strauch, who appears to be okay after that issue that he had. Poveda is coming in off the right flank. Here's Rodrigo, tries to stab it through towards Jan Poveda, but Wolves defend it well, and they've barely seen the whites of Rui Patricio's eyes, Leeds, in this second half so far, after being the team that looked the most likely by far in the first 45 minutes.
Yep, and perfect for Wolves now. Sit in, as they have done all game, suck it up, hit on the counter. Maybe this was part of the game plan.
Pablo Hernandez is going to come into the game for Leeds as well. The veteran, 35 years old, suffered a groin injury at Liverpool on the opening day, and he's about to return Leeds Player of the Year for the last 3 seasons. Heavy first touch by Harrison, and here's Adama Traore holding off Harrison, and then darting into that Leeds half. He's running towards the edge of the penalty area now, and he plays it out to the left-hand side in the area to Neto. Neto on his left foot. Can he get a shot away? It's blocked brilliantly in the end by Luke Ayling, who stays down himself, just clutching his right knee, maybe twisted that as he repelled that effort from Neto. And Marcelo Bielsa just scratching his chin, explaining the role that Pablo Hernandez will play when he comes onto the field.
Why would you try and muscle Adama Traore as Jack Harrison did there? He just bounced off him, didn't he?
Got to pick your battles there, haven't you, I think. Here's Neto facing the corner flag and wins his side of corner. He spun there effectively, and the attempted cross cannoned off a Leeds defender and has gone behind. So at the moment it looks Wolves are the most likely to come away with the points here, leading by a goal to nil and controlling the game. And what can Marcelo Bielsa do to change things? Wolves corner kick on their left-hand side. Once again, Cody has stayed back in the centre circle. And once again, all those big Wolves players on the edge of the penalty area in a bunch.
Yeah.
And what has David Coote seen here? He's marching towards that melee and that group of players. There's a good 10 players that you could put a blanket over right on the edge of the area. And again, Jimenez runs towards the near post. It's over his head this time, though. It's a little bit too deep for Dendoncker, who tried to pluck the ball out of the air with his right boot. And in the end, in trying to take control of the ball, he's fouled Rodrigo, and Leeds have a free kick. And it just, at this point, you start to look at the clock and wonder if Leeds might be thinking they're running out of time as we approach the 75-minute mark. And Pascal Struijk, who was injured as that goal was scored, he comes off, and Hernandez goes on. So they're a defender down, maybe a back three for Leeds now, but they've got to go for a goal, haven't they?
Yep. And Phillips has gone in as that right centre half now. Another attacker on, so he's showing intent. Haven't done enough in this second half, though. Leeds hasn't been as slick going forward.
I tell you, you must be a very fit human being if you're 35 years old and you play for Marcelo Bielsa. And he is a regular normally, Pablo Hernandez, and he plays a lovely ball down the right hand side. And here's Poveda, low ball in, and it's well defended, calmly defended by Connor Cody, and he lobs a ball out of his own penalty area. Can't find Traore though. Here's Bamford on the edge of the area, back to goal. Was he fouled? David Coote took a good look at it. He fell to ground, and it's no free kick. And now Hernandez has it and rolls it back to the halfway line, and Leeds have it back. Here's Hernandez again. Out he goes to Ayling, right hand side. Time running out for Leeds. They trail Wolves by a goal to nil. Click clips it down the right hand side, and it's well defended by Saiz. Drops it back to his goalkeeper Patricio. Left footed clearance straight to a Leeds player. Here's Click again, rolls it along the halfway line to Robin Koch, and now is Stuart Dallas. Left hand touch line, it goes to Harrison. Lovely ball between defenders to Click, nicely bit inside the fullback to Rodrigo on the left hand side. The overlap here from Harrison, the cross towards the back post is excellent. Leeds' best football of the second half so far. The cross was too strong, and it's out for a Wolves throw on the far side.
Well, they just seem to be building up ahead of steam now. Leeds going again, suckered with that Wolves goal, but they work it really well down the left hand side. They've loaded the box, and Harrison just overhit the ball from the byline. Clever little reverse ball from Rodrigo.
He had Bamford at the back post, Chris,
yes,
didn't he?
He did, yeah. Just off with that final ball. You have to say in the game, though, I can't really remember Patricio making a save of any real note. That would be the disappointment from Bielsa's point of view.
Long ball over the top of that Leeds defence is dealt with well by Meslier outside of his own penalty area. And here come Leeds United again, seeking an equaliser for the second straight home game. They did it against Manchester City through this man Rodrigo. Can they do it again? Here's Harrison, infield to Stuart Dallas. Square ball in the midfield to Mateus Click. Hernandez is a lively figure since coming on, demanding the ball. He takes it off the toes of a teammate and plays it out to Poveda on the right hand side. Ayling's in support, goes on the overlap. Poveda cuts back on his left foot on the Leeds right. Hernandez is there. Here he is near the touchline, being marshalled by Neto. And Hernandez cuts in field, plays it towards the edge of the penalty area. There's a flick towards Bamford, and it's easily repelled in the end by Semedo. But some nice intricate football being played by Leeds United around the penalty area, almost too intricate that time by Jack Harrison. And then Wolves earn themselves a free kick just inside the Leeds half. Adama Traore fouled by Stuart Dallas, and that'll be nice for Wolves to knock a few more seconds off the clock.
Yeah, Bielsa not happy with that decision. Traore just pushing it past Dallas.
Well, he hasn't scored for 23 Premier League games, Adama Traore. All of his 4 Premier League goals last season were against Big Six teams, 3 of them against Man City.
But he has, this season he's played in that wing-back role, playing a little bit further forward this evening, where he's more, he's so much of a threat. Wasted playing in a defensive role, even though he may be able to do a perfectly decent job. That's good from Bamford.
Excellent, wasn't it? Yeah. The ball was over the top. It was going towards a harmless goal kick situation. He overtook Bolly, backheeled the ball against Bolly's shins and wins his side a corner. And here's Pablo Hernandez to take it. He's got the option very short to Harrison, but he steps back, waits for his big men to come forward. Calvin Phillips is one of them. Right-footed, Hernandez sends it deep towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Jimenez is back with a defensive header. Dendoncker was there as well. And can Wolves bring the ball clear through Neto? And Neto knocked it around Stuart Dallas, and Neto could be away here down the left-hand side. Dallas has done excellently to stay within the Northern Ireland international, and he forces him back. Good defending by Stuart Dallas in an awkward situation, but Leeds have it back. And here's Hernandez, left-hand side for Leeds, into the Wolves half, and he's got Harrison on the overlap. Here is Harrison, left-footed, cuts back, his 3 Leeds shirts to aim for in the penalty area. He goes back to Click with the square ball. What are his options here? The cross comes in towards Bamford. It's Hernandez who flicks it on towards Harrison. Possibilities here. Hernandez takes a deflection and goes over the top of Patricio's goal. And once again, like the first half, it's Leeds who look the most likely to score the next goal. They have a corner kick.
Yeah, he actually didn't make the most of the first opportunity, a header from about 8 yards. Only could help the ball on, and when the ball was pulled back to him, Hernandez is 10 yards out. Bolly gets his big left boot to it, and it goes over the Wolves bar.
Phillips to take the corner to the near post. Again, zonal marking from Wolves, and Jimenez gets it clear from the corner of the 6-yard box. 10 minutes remaining at Ellen Road. Can Leeds draw level? Wolves with that 1-0 lead courtesy of Raul Jimenez, and they have the ball again through Pedro Neto against Luke Ayling, and Luke Ayling does excellently just to lure Neto into a piece of skill, tried to knock the ball past him. Ayling wasn't allowing him through. Back to the goalkeeper it goes, and Leeds can build from the back again through Click. Square ball, he finds Calvin Phillips, who slips as he plays it forward. It's off the head of Rodrigo, and Romain Saiz will just hammer it left-footed down the line, and he'll always have the ever-willing Jimenez to chase it, and Jimenez in the end fouls Calvin Phillips, and Jimenez looks very frustrated with that decision, but he's running the line well up front for Wolves, and Phillips has got a problem here with his right shoulder, it appears. He's just grimacing. He's climbed very quickly back to his feet. I think he understands the urgency, with Leeds trailing by a goal to 0 with 9 minutes remaining. But we'll have to see if he's okay. He's kind of in a crouched position, hands on his knees again, Chris. That's hurting him. Harrison has come off.
Yeah, that's Rafinha.
Rafinha has come on for Leeds United on that left-hand side. How do you assess Harrison? That's the 3rd substitute, by the way, for Leeds.
Yeah, it's been a difficult night for him. I think Semedo has played him very, very well. It's been a good battle, that, but I think Semedo's got the better of him. We know he's a talented player, so last throw of the dice for Bielsa. Rafinha, I think I saw him in a Rennes jersey. Tricky player, play out wide, take people on. Another attacking signing. That's the only way Bielsa knows. You've got to be able to play and attack to play in one of his teams.
Well, it's a nice situation for Nuno Espirito Santo to take João Moutinho off, as he has just done, and bring Ruben Neves on. Neves still only 23. Leeds in possession.
They look so similar, don't they, Moutinho and Neves?
They do. Diagonal ball towards the edge of the penalty area is a good one. Semedo is too much for him, and it's at the byline. The cut back is a good one, and there's a chance here at the back post, and Poveda, and it's Rodrigo, and it's over his head. How did Leeds not equalise? The ball spun awkwardly off a defender from Poveda. I thought for all the money that Rodrigo was going to nod it into an empty net, but it just agonisingly went over his head, and the chance was lost.
Well, should Poveda have scored at the far post Oh, maybe Wolves got away with that one.
An excellent challenge by Kilman on Rodrigo. Well, we've had 83 minutes here at Ellen Road, and the destination of the points very much in the balance. Wolves lead by 1-0, but Leeds United are pressing in the closing stages, as you would expect. Click between the lines to Rodrigo, to Bamford into the penalty area, heavy first touch, and it rolls through to Patricio.
They're so organised, that back three, or those three centre-halves of Wolves. Really clever ball through to Bamford, who took his first touch, but Bolly was ushering him away. Just seeing that opportunity, Poveda couldn't get a good enough strike on the ball. It's more of a toe poke from 7 yards, and it loops up, and you're thinking an easy finish for Rodrigo, but just looped over him into safety.
Calvin Phillips for Leeds United, who's still just looking a little awkward with that shoulder problem, maybe the collarbone area. Semedo has gone to ground, but fouled. Was he by Bamford, or was it offside? Either way,
it was a little foul, a little tug from Bamford on Semedo. Might have been offside as well, but he certainly makes the most of that, Semedo.
And it's a free kick to Wolves, to be taken by Rui Patricio, as Marcelo Bielsa just fiddles with the zip on his training top, down on his haunches, shouting towards some of his players, glasses perched on his nose. 65 years old, he just signs 1-year contracts here at Leeds, who would like him to stay for as long as possible, but we won't know until next summer whether he'll stay another season. But he's brought a lot to the Premier League so far in these early stages. 85 minutes gone. Leeds need something to happen very soon, or they're going to end on the losing side to Wolves here. And we're just taking a look at the pictures, and it's Andrea Radrizzani, who has said he'd like to continue this cycle with Marcelo Bielsa. On the one hand, Marcelo is very demanding. On the other, he's no longer young, so he doesn't know. They analyse it every year together, he says, and we'll see next season. Ball is over by the corner flag, with Wolves in the attacking area, and the ball is right on the byline, and Neto, I think it's come off him last. He was being challenged by Ayling. He's got a big smile on his face. They've enjoyed the tussle out there, those two. And Marçal will come on for Wolves very shortly, who are looking to close out the victory and take the 3 points back down the M1 and M6. Would be the M1 and M6, wouldn't it?
I'm not familiar with this side of the country.
The ball through by Rodrigo, looking for Bamford, who's been a willing run-up, but just has been marshalled so well by those back three. This time it's Connor Cody, who tried to get the ball down the line, having intercepted it. It comes off Bamford, and it's a throw into Wolves.
He's such an intelligent footballer, Connor Cody, so aware, spots the run. As soon as Rodrigo on the half turn, he knows there's going to be a runner in behind. He drops early. Bamford makes the run, and Cody reads it exceptionally well and ushers the ball out to safety.
Semedo taking his time with the throw. Robin Kopp wins the header. Ball's high in the air, falls on the head of Neves, who helps it on its way. But Leeds have it back through Click. And it's given away disappointingly by Hernandez, who tries to win the ball back unsuccessfully off Dendoncker. Then the long ball by Neves is a good one, and that sends Traore away. Magnificent first touch to cushion the ball by Adama Traore, but instead of going towards the penalty area immediately, he just kind of waits for his teammates, and then probably in two minds as to whether to go to the corner flag or do something a little more offensive. In the end, he was caught between both, and Leeds have it back. And here's Click striding through the midfield towards the halfway line for Leeds United, trailing by 1-0. We're inside the final 3 minutes of the 90 here at Ellen Road. At the moment, it's Jimenez's goal that separates the sides. Leeds moving in towards the Wolves penalty area, but it's hammered clear left-footed by Ruben Neves, and it's a throw to Leeds, level with the edge of the penalty area on their right-hand side.
So well drilled, aren't they, Wolves at the back? Midfielders giving good protection to the back line. Leeds.
Here's Rodrigo towards the byline. He's got his back to goal, side of the penalty area, well defended by Cody. Can they get a cross in? Can they get a man free in that penalty area? Cody's now just dropping back into his centre-back position. Here's Ayling on the overlap. The cross comes in. It's a good one, but it's Patricio who stretches out towards the edge of his 6-yard box, goes to ground, ball in his hand, and Wolves survive.
Ayling's not very happy. They worked it well down the right-hand side. Good little overload. He gets to the byline, whips across in, and Patricio gathers at his near post. Ayling screaming at Bamford, make a run across the near post.
Lovely bit of control off his chest by Jimenez. It was a long clearance by Patricio, and he killed it stone dead off his chest and won his side a throw in. And a final substitution by Nuno Espirito Santo, and that means Marçal will come on and Neto will come off, who's been a lively presence on the left-hand side for Wolves in this second half. So Marçal, who was signed in September from Lyon, suffered that calf injury in his home debut against Manchester City, and he returns.
A defender by trade, and he's just gone in, I think, to stiffen up the midfield, albeit those are coming together there, and both technical areas.
Yeah, Jimenez is down, isn't he? And he's kicking the turf as well. And David Coots is marching across. And the Wolves players don't look happy. And Jimenez looks to be in a bit of pain. We saw this with João Moutinho earlier in the half. Nuno Espirito Santo is remaining calm and talking to a couple of his players, including Ruben Neves. But let's take a look at the replay here. And it's Robin Koch, I think, and then
I tell you what,
Jimenez lashes out afterwards, doesn't he?
Well, I tell you, this will be an interesting one, because what we do know is you can't lash out like that. I'd like to have another look at this.
He was fouled initially.
Well, he was.
I think that's fair enough, but then he lashes out. He doesn't really make contact. That's not necessarily important or significant.
No, you can imagine that the panic now at Stockley Park. Let's see this. It's cocking to the back of Jimenez, and I think Jimenez should go for that. I really do.
Violent conduct.
He's had a kick out there.
Well, VAR will be looking in the background at everything. Michael Oliver is the VAR official tonight. David Coote appears to be happy for the play to continue, so no further action taken. No clear and obvious error. He's 6 minutes of time added on.
There. I mean, does it matter if you don't catch him? If you swung a punch at someone, would you be sent off? I mean, it's really odd that.
We're into stoppage time now, 6 minutes of it, with Wolves leading Leeds by 1-0. And Leeds building from the back. Calvin Phillips finds his right back Luke Ayling. Rafinha screaming for the ball on the left-hand side. So too Stuart Dallas. It arrives at the instep of Dallas, turns away from Traore, plays a square ball to Click. Click, though, pressured by Dendoncker. There's more energy about Wolves closing down in this second half. Neves forces Leeds back to Calvin Phillips and forced a mistake out of him. He was looking for Dallas, could only find the head of Traore. Now Traore looking to bustle down that right-hand side. He shrugged off the attentions of Stuart Dallas, turns away from another defender. Lovely play by Adama Traore, gets the ball back from Dendoncker, then comes inside of Rafinha. That's excellent from Traore, maintaining possession, surrounded by white shirts in a very tight area, and keeps Wolves in possession.
Yeah, it's what they need, isn't it, Wolves? A ball carrier, someone who can get them up the pitch, hold on to the ball, really clever, draws players towards him and then pops the ball off Traore.
Wolves lead by 1-0. Leeds pressing for an equaliser. Here we are in stoppage time. Jimenez, was it a foul on Click? No. Yes, it was Click, but there's no foul, and Neves towards the edge of the area. He can shoot them from here. Into the area he goes, left-footed. It's an excellent block. He won't get a third attempt, and the ball is cleared for a throw-in. Ruben Neves has never scored a goal from inside the penalty area for Wolves. I don't think he'll get many better chances than that.
No, he nearly did then. The space just opened up, picks it up on the centre spot, virtually drives to just outside the box, gets a shot off, his blocked by Phillips, and then he gets another attempt, fires a left-foot drive-in. Brave from Ayling.
And it remains 1-0 to Wolves. Leeds down the right-hand side now. Click shows in the midfield. Back it goes. And along the line to Robin Koch. Here's Rafinha making his Premier League debut for Leeds down the left-hand side. Orange boots. Flicks with the outside of his boots. Here's a nice looking ball to Rodrigo. And he's on the overlap again in behind Semedo. And he got to it. Couple of yards from the byline, but couldn't wrap his foot around it. Into the side netting it goes, and it's a goal kick.
First pop was good from Rafinha into Rodrigo. Got the run on Semedo. Just a poor quality cross. Really poor. There's an opportunity. This is a really slick piece of play and got to the byline. It's just got to feed it into an area. Wolves have just got to see these final seconds through now. Big win for them.
Patricio sends it just inside the Leeds half. Chest control by Dendoncker, then he's dispossessed. Willy Bolly sends it upfield with a side-footed ball towards Jimenez. It was too hot to handle for the Mexico international. Leeds have it back. Here's Ayling on the right-hand side. Ball to Poveda, right touchline. Cuts inside of his man, who's Marçal. Poveda again, tries to wriggle between two Wolves midfielders. He's won the foul. And Marçal doesn't look particularly impressed with the decision, but Leeds have a free kick, 20 yards outside the Wolves penalty area.
Yeah, and this is it, isn't it? Clever feet from Poveda. Little nutmeg. One of the central midfielders for Wolves, and draws the foul.
Taken quickly. Hernandez out to the right-hand side. Down the line it goes to Rafinha. Jimenez is the defender, and he does excellently, the centre-forward, to prevent the cross coming into the area. Then he picked up the loose ball, ran it out, and it's a Leeds throw on their right-hand side.
This is it for Leeds, isn't it? Jimenez defending, and got everybody back now, Wolves.
We're inside the final 2 minutes of the minimum of 6 added on at the end of the game, and Leeds will have another throw in. It's 15 yards inside the Wolves half on the Leeds right. Rodrigo is in the penalty area. In fact, it's further forward than that. It's the edge of the penalty area. Rodrigo makes a run towards the byline. It's intelligently done by Leeds, and they've won themselves a corner kick.
Yeah, just a bit sloppy from Wolves, just switching off. One throw in, Neves running back towards his own goal. Carelessly pokes it behind for a corner to Leeds.
Bamford's at the back post, being marshalled by Semedo. On the edge of the area, Calvin Phillips. Click is at the back post. It's swung in towards Mateus Click, but it takes one bounce on the side of the area. He brings the ball under control by the touchline. His cross is headed clear rather easily by Neves. Ball falls to the feet here of Calvin Phillips. Phillips to Hernandez. Left touchline is Click if he needs him. So to Poveda, and here is Poveda on his left foot, side of the area. It's Semedo. He couldn't work the cross. It was an attempted, almost a cutback along the ground. Semedo able to block it. The ball is out for a throw. We're inside the final minute of stoppage time here. 5 Live Sport. Leeds 0, Wolves 1. If it stays like this, Leeds will, Wolves will go into 6th place in a pretty embryonic Premier League table. Dallas sends the cross into the penalty area. The heads go up. It's Saiz who wins it, but it drops here to Rafinha on the right hand side. The cross comes in, and it's headed clear once again. Brilliant. Those tall 3 Wolves centre-back trio have been fantastic in the air, and Connor Cody punches the air. It's Raul Jimenez's goal as the full-time whistle is blown that has won the game for Wolverhampton Wanderers. We didn't see this coming at half-time, but Wolves were excellent in the second 45 minutes. Leeds are beaten. Wolves go up to 6th mark. It is Leeds 0, Wolves 1.